as it marches on towards the east northeast. Remember, this is a confirmed tornado that we are tracking here, and we want to make sure that you are heeding this early warning and headed to your safe spot. Folks back here in Ashland City, that storm has passed by you now over to Bellsong. It's passed by you. So let's do that big view one more time, because I want to give some folks the all clear here, because we promised we would do that. So you can see that we've got our line right through here. If you're in Clarksville, my goodness, you've had enough for one day. The storms have passed you by at this point. The same goes up here in Hopkinsville, and then we can see back over to Paris, that line pushing westward over to Jackson. All of that area back through here into West Tennessee and along that Tennessee River. You can see how it's coming on through, and it's passed you by at this point. But let's get a little closer here. If you're in Linden, it looks like you're going to see the next batch that's going to come on through over to Hohenwald. You're in line to get that, and then it'll continue to move on towards the east. Now, as we look a little farther off to the north, and by the way, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for that line, so you are going to see some more of that stormy weather. But it's a little farther north that we're seeing the worst of the weather, right up through here. That flashing that you see, you've still got some rain in Ashland City, but you are no longer in the threat of the tornado, so you are good to come out of your safe spot if you're in Ashland City. That has moved on east of you, and right now it is just south of Whites Creek that we're seeing that rotation right now. And did you have something, Stefano, to add?
Yeah, we just got something in from Springfield, the emergency management director. This is 17th Avenue and Memorial and Black Patch and Memorial Avenue. There are reports of massive structural damage, multiple injuries, and rescues going on right now. So that's Springfield, 17th Avenue and Memorial, and Black Patch and Memorial. We have reports of massive structure damage, people trapped and people injured. That's coming from the EMA director in that area. So I'll say it one more time. Springfield, 17th Avenue, Memorial, Black Patch and Memorial, reports of structure damage and people trapped in their homes. So, and one of the problems, Lisa, that Cruz and I were discussing was we're getting into a nocturnal situation now. The sun is getting ready to set, so this becomes a harder and more dangerous situation without any daylight to help us see, anything that's coming our way.
That's a really good time for us to remind folks, please don't go outside and look for this storm. It is getting dark. These are typically rain-wrapped storms. I mean, you can put the reflectivity back on there for us, Cruz. And they're typically rain-wrapped. Look at all this rain around this. You're not going to be able to look out and say, oh, there it is. It's going to be harder to see now that the sun is setting, and we're going to have a tough time with these. So just don't take that secondary look out there to make sure this is really a tornado. Trust us. We want you to notice that here on the radar, we are seeing the signature of a tornado. We've already had it come through Springfield. You've heard that report from Stefano. So please take this precaution. If you are here in Cross Plains, make sure that you are in your safe place. I am not one that typically is alarming person. You know that if you've been watching me for years here. But we want you to take this very, very seriously. This is Cross Plains right here. That storm is almost on top of you at this point as it's moving towards the east northeast and continuing on through here into York County, into Robertson County, and eventually, heads up folks here in Portland, if this holds together, it looks like you could be the next in line for this storm to impact your weather there. And here is an update on where we are seeing these storms. We've got it over to East Robertson County right now at the high school. Cross Plains, 437. What time is it? It's 4:35. It's a couple of minutes away from you. Portland High School, 4:53. Chestnut Grove, 4:53. Mitchellville, 4:54. Portland at 4:54. So if you are in these areas, please make sure that you are taking those precautions. I mean, Stefano just popped it up here. Actually, that screws over there. Just pop this up here. This is the debris ball that we were seeing just a second ago, and it looked like we could see, some of this debris being lofted into the air. That's anything that this tornado has brought up from the ground. It's being detected here on radar. So what you do is you look for anything that doesn't look like the others, and that's what we're seeing here, these yellow spots that very well could be some debris from this storm that is just off to the west of Cross Plains and moving on towards the east right now. Some of the roadways, Cedar Grove Road, Guthrie Road, State 25, State Route 25, and over to around, I believe that's Calista Road there that I've seen correctly, and Malloy to South Road. Any of these that I'm calling out, this is going to continue to move. Hey, we are looking right now at the Briley Parkway, Eaton's Creek Road for what looks like This is over northwest Nashville, which could be some circulation.
I mean, traffic has come to a complete stall in that area. We've seen so much heavy rain come down in this spot, and also the wind as well. I mean, somehow the people in the other lanes are making their way through, but you can see on the left side of the screen that traffic is stopped. I mean, that's how powerful the wind is. They're trying to truck along here, but this is the same cell you were tracking, Lisa, and it's something that we are, very serious about. Like you've been saying, it's confirmed. It's already had some history of some damage, like we talked about in Springfield, and we'll need to watch it closely.
All right, you can see where it is right now on the radar. We've got this notch indicating that circulation through there where that storm is rotating right there just southwest of Whites Creek. And this is where the notch is. And anytime we see that and then we match it up here with the reds and the greens, that is where that rotation is. And this has been a confirmed tornado that is moving across. It may lift up from time to time, but we have had confirmation that it is on the ground. That's why we want to make sure you're headed into that safe spot right now. We want to take this seriously. It is moving into Davidson County, moving across, headed to Nashville. Folks there in Parkwood Estates, over to Bellshower. If you're in Avondale, if you're in the Madison area, please make sure you are hunkered down in your safe spot right now as this storm is moving in your direction. And you can see where it is in response to downtown Nashville. It's a little bit farther off to the north and tracking on towards the east northeast. We've got folks there in Hunters Lane High School. 4:41 is the estimated arrival time. Good Pasture Christian School at 4:42, Madison 4:44, over to Hendersonville at 4:53, and continuing to the high school there at 4:54, to Greenlawn at 4:57, and Cedar Grove 5 o'clock is the estimated arrival time. Station Camp High School at 5:01, and Mount Juliet High School 5:03. So we are giving you a good little time here to make sure you're headed to the storm shelter or a safe spot in your home as this storm is moving in your direction. This flashing light that you see here, this purple shading, that is a particularly dangerous situation. And for us, that means there is confirmation that we do indeed have a tornado as this warning was issued. And we've been tracking it ever since as it's moved on towards the east. Cruz?
Well, it actually looks like it's been extended just recently here. So this warning is now going to go until 5:15, and we could actually see this completely make it out of Davidson County if it holds together and move into areas like southern Sumner County. It could move into far eastern or far western portions of Wilson County if it holds together as well. So just giving you a heads up down the line. I know we just called out some of these names, but if you look off to the east of where the storm is at, it's over here near Whites Creek. We've got Hendersonville down the line, Goodlettsville. This could go between you and Madison. Gallatin, if this holds on, this could potentially move into that part of Sumner County. So, we want to give you the heads up. We don't want you to have to prepare at the last minute. You could go ahead and be in your safe place right now. You can live stream us on the free WSMV4 First Alert Weather app. If you have any digital streaming, Amazon, all of the major streaming platforms, you can stream us up there. And take us into your safe place. That way you don't have to sit in front of the TV. But if you can't do that, you can also just turn the volume up to your TV. We're going to stay right here with you on WSMV4. You could just make sure you have the volume up. That way you know what's coming in your direction. Let's check back in with this northernmost tornado warning right now. So this is now going to push out of Robertson County here, I'd say within the next 20 minutes. And that's going to put it into western Sumner County. I'm still seeing the flashing of this. This goes until 5 p.m. And I want to show you where the rotation is at within this storm. So this one we know was confirmed. It moved through Springfield, and you can see it now past Cross Plains. It's actually just to the north. The rotation here, maybe not as impressive as what I saw just a few scans ago, but there's definitely still rotation. So it's right where you have these greens and reds touching each other. That's where you're going to have at least some broad rotation. But once again, this is confirmed, so we know that it's still on the ground. Unless we hear otherwise, we're going to treat it that way. So you need to be in your safe place. This is going to be for folks off to the east of Cross Plains. Actually, I'm going to do a storm track real quick and see if Stefano will help me out here with some of these communities. So this particular storm is moving off to the east-northeast at about 35 miles per hour. And here are some of the communities that are in the path.
So the time is 4:41. Portland High School at 4:51. It's Mitchellville at 4:52. Portland at 4:53. And Brackentown at 5:05. And the reason I was standing here, Cruz, is this image here. It was I-24. It was near Briley Parkway. I mean, the wind that was just whipping through those areas. And if you guys can hear me in the control room, I mean, any of the traffic cameras in those areas are going to give us a view of just how intense this storm actually is. So this is one of them that we're tracking. With that rotation, it's still tight enough here that this storm still has a lot of good spin to it. It could very well be on the ground at this point as we get it out for a little bit of a bigger view and go a little farther south. This is still, I think, the main area of concern. This storm that's right near Whites Creek, it's near Madison, just to the south of Goodlettsville as we get a little bit better view here from First Alert Live radar. What's happening here is this storm is working its way to the east, so we're thinking Hendersonville next. What Cruz just drew right near Madison, that notch that you're seeing in there, that's a really good indication of the inflow of this thunderstorm. So what's happening is the strong inflow in the updraft in that storm is lifting the rotation and making it more vertical, and that's where you get these intense wind speeds that Cruz is showing. I mean, we've seen gate-to-gate shear between 120 to 130 miles per hour with some of these storms, and it looks like we could, see even more than that right now. Look at that, 120 miles per hour. What you're doing, you're taking those two numbers and putting them together, showing that that storm is really packing some dangerous wind speed. It's near Belshire. It's heading near Edenwood as well. Hendersonville will be next as this continues to move east, but it is going to go, it looks like, just to the north of Madison. If you live near Madison, in and around that area, you need to be getting into your safe space immediately as Cruz goes ahead and throws another track on this for us. Very important that you know where this storm is going and when. So the time is 4:43. Hunters Lane High School, we have no more time anymore. You have to get to your safe space immediately. Madison at 4:47, Lakewood at 4:53. I'll say it again, the time now is 4:43, so 4:53 in Lakewood the next 10 minutes. Hendersonville High School at 4:55, the same thing in Greenlawn at 4:58. Cedar Grove at around 5:01. You start getting outside that warning zone here, but actually with the new warning, it's including areas like Gallatin and LaGuardo. So that's just kind of showing what the National Weather Service thinks these storms are going to do. These have been long-track tornadoes that have been confirmed on the ground. We saw the one that went through Montgomery County and Clarksville and then all the way up through parts of southern Kentucky. This one that's moving through Davidson County is the main focus right now. We also have this additional confirmed tornado that's up near the Portland area, so getting into parts of Sumner County like Cruz was talking about. But Madison, Hendersonville, Gallatin, just to the north of downtown Nashville, but I will say this, even though we haven't seen a lot in Nashville, at least as of now, other than maybe just some rain and some rumbles of thunder, there's still more behind all of this, so there's still storms back in Dixon, Kingston Springs. We're getting into a time now where the sun is getting ready to set and go down. So these severe thunderstorm warnings that are still on the back side of this, they're still going to have the capability back in Dixon County, through Humphreys County, all the way down through Centerville as well. They'll still have the capability of not only keeping their strength, but still spinning up. That's been the theme that what we've been seeing as these storms move into this very unstable environment here in the mid-state. They're gaining strength, they're gaining spin, and that's when they're dropping tornadoes. Right now, right smack dab through Davidson County. Looks like it'll go just north of Nashville. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It'll head toward Hendersonville, but we also need to watch this line. That's back in southwest middle Tennessee. Severe thunderstorm warnings right now from Savannah, Linden, just to the south of Waverly, so a heads up in spots like Lawrenceburg and Columbia. All of that will work its way to the east, and we'll see what those storms end up doing and how they're strengthening. Right now, the only thing I'm really seeing in the way of these storms, the mountains and the Cumberland Plateau. Once it hits those, they should start to fall apart, but right now, there's nothing in the path of these storms to slow them down.
I-65 Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, we can see a tornado. If we can get that up, I-65 Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, we can actually see the tornado moving across. We can get that camera up. We have it here that we're looking at in the Weather Center. If we can take a look. No, that's not the one. It's I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, and we can see it here. Mile marker 95, and it's just about to move out of this window. Please, if you are in that area, mile marker 95, if you know where that is on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, we are seeing a tornado on the ground that is crossing the interstate there. And here we go up towards Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, and it's mile marker 95. This is the storm right through here, and you can see it coming right in there. It just moved off the corner of that, so if we can track it to the next camera, we might be able to do that if we can see it. You guys are looking there from your perspective there, if they may be turning it too, so we can see it. But here is the storm right through here.
It's coming into frame now.
All right, and let's go on and show the radar too while we're doing that.
Lisa, I would go full screen. It's on there right now.
Okay, let's take a look at it then. What we're looking at here, this is the tornado that we are watching, tracking it
there
across.
It is.
Can you see it right there? I'll point it out to you. It's right here in the middle of your screen. If you can pop me in, I can show folks there where it is. I mean, take me full screen over this. I mean, you can see it right in the middle of that picture, right in the middle, and it's right through here on our radar. So you can take that full screen one more time. This is the tornado that we're seeing. Please, if you're in this area, make sure that you are taking precautions there into your safe place. We can show you this video later if you want to see it, but if you're in that area, just make sure you are right now.
Yeah.
What was that?
You can see power flashes.
Yes.
I just saw some transformers blow up.
Yes, we can see the power flashes as the storm is moving across. This tornado, a confirmed tornado, we're seeing it right here on this camera. Now, if you're in the areas, it's going to continue to move. I want to remind you, please don't go out and try to see this. We will have video of this to show you later. Please go on and head to your safe spot at this point, because this is rain wrapped. You may not be able to see it very well from where you are if you look outside. So we want you in that safe spot that is putting as many walls as between the storm and you as possible as it is moving across and tracking through. Just to remind you where we're looking at where I-65 is, right there at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, and this is what we're seeing here with our wind so close together right now, the reds and the greens. This is where that tornado is located right now, and we're tracking it here on our camera too as well, on that tracking camera. Let's get a little bit closer in here, crew, so folks can see where this is right now. And I'm going to get over here so I can see these names for you. That is near North Hill Estates. Also, we're looking at it around Power Plant Road, Overbrook Circle. If you know these areas, Center Point Road, Rockland Road, River Road, Rockland, Highland Acres, those areas that we're naming off, and look how close that is to Hendersonville. We want you to take those precautions in your safe place right now, headed around Maple Grove. These are the areas that right now we are watching very, very carefully. This is a confirmed tornado. We are seeing it on camera here. All this is moving towards the east, northeast right now. That's going to be headed over to Hendersonville at 454, the high school at 455, Station Camp High School at 502, Gallatin at 509, LaGuardo at 509, Gallatin at 511. Remember where you need to be right now. If you're in that area, get to a safe spot, storm shelter if you have it, or you'll want to go to the lowest level in your home. That could be a bathroom, that could be a closet. Just stay away from the windows and get down as low as you can. This is an incredible storm that we're seeing right here. Look at that notch on this storm. That is where the tornado is likely rotating right through here as it's moving towards you. If you are in Hendersonville, you need to head right there to your safe spot at this point. Not a good time to look to see if you can see this storm. It's getting dark outside, it's rain wrapped out there, and you're not going to be able to find it if you're looking for it just with your naked eye. This is your confirmation right here. We were showing it on our traffic camera there just a few moments ago. So it is headed towards you if you are in Hendersonville. This is a very dangerous situation with this storms. We've already had several tornadoes today in Springfield, in Clarksville, that have done so much destruction. And we know this next storm is headed right now into Hendersonville as we speak, and continuing to move on towards the northeast. So we want to get a heads up there to folks in Gallatin as you would be next in line. It will come at least to some of these southern communities of Gallatin as it continues to move on towards the northeast right now. So just resetting once again, this is a tornado that we have seen on camera that is moving, if you are in Hendersonville, moving in your direction right now as we speak. And we can even get a little closer again just to give you another perspective of this. If you're in Hendersonville, hopefully you have our app and you can watch us. The WSMV4 app is the best to use. You can watch us here and we'll keep you updated as this storm is getting closer to you. If you're in your closet or your safe space, Cedar Grove, Rockland are the communities that are next in line. Meadowvale, Oakvale, Hendersonville. You can see right there Maple Road Estates. All these are communities or neighborhoods that are in the line of the storm. It is on top of you right now in Rockland. If some of these roads sound familiar to you, please, it's near you, Harbor Drive. And also we're looking over to folks there who might be in the Freehill Road area and Overbrook Circle. It's really on top of that little area right now, as we can see right through here. Let's check our debris ball and see if we have even another indication of this storm. And this is what we're looking at right through there.
It's a bit ambiguous.
Yes.
It looks like it, with the rotation, Lisa, there is something lining up, but something you have to consider here is how close we are to the radar now.
We are.
The closer you get, it gets very pixelated if you're too close. So that can kind of mess with things, make it a bit ambiguous, but we can tell you, we're seeing the rotation. This is lining up perfectly with what looks like could be debris right there on Power Plant Road. This is going to move right over Rockland. This is not something you want to chance. You don't want to take this lightly. We need you in your safe place like right now. Hendersonville, a heads up to you. If you live anywhere near Highway 31 East, that's a north-south running highway that I could see here. This is actually moving in your direction at this time. So I should say a east-west moving highway. We've also got Cherokee Road down the way. We've got Maple Road Boulevard, East Main Street, Volunteer Drive, Oakville, Noakes Heights, Hendersonville High School. These are all communities. You cannot chance this. You don't have time to waste anymore. We need you in your safe place right now. And we're going to remind you just where that is really quickly. So this is going to be on the first floor of your home in an interior room. You don't want any windows near you. Cover yourself. Put blankets, pillows on. If you have a helmet, or you could put helmet on your kids, you could put shoes on. These are all things that would be helpful in this situation. But guys, listen to my voice. Lisa was just saying this earlier. We don't freak out. We're not trying to freak you out. We are trying to speak urgency into this situation. This is not something to play around with. We just saw that tornado moving through quite literally on one of the Tennessee SmartWay cameras. And we still see this rotation. I mean, this is holding up very good. So it's where you have these greens and reds up against each other right over Oakville and Noakes Heights. This is going to be just to the north of Hendersonville. I mean, Hendersonville, this is essentially right on top of you at this time. And man, not a good signature that we're seeing here with this particular storm moving through Davidson.
Yeah, just to add, Cruz, to what we're hearing from folks out there, there are cars flipped on I-65. There are cars flipped on I-65 as this tornado came across the interstate, and of course now making its way into Hendersonville at this point and continuing on that track is going to take it towards the east-northeast. So, just advice, if you were planning on driving up in this general direction, please don't. Please stay put, especially if you're farther south, because now we are being impacted in many ways from this storm as it tracks on towards the east-northeast. And right now in Hendersonville, headed over towards the high school. In Noakes Heights, if that is your neighborhood, 31E, right on over to Oakville, Maple Drive North, Lake Club Estates, the Maples, Scottish Highlands. All these are neighborhoods that are out ahead of this system. This is where it's headed next as it continues to move towards the east-northeast right now. A very dangerous situation because we know we have confirmation of a tornado here. We saw it on camera, and we are getting reports of already damage with cars flipped on I-65 with this storm as it continues to track towards the east-northeast. We're going to give you a new update on where it is headed next. These are the estimated arrival times as this storm continues to move on this path at this rate of speed. Hendersonville High School, it is right on you at this point. Station Camp High School 507, Gallatin High School 516, 518 for downtown Gallatin. So right now our clock is reading just minutes before 5 o'clock. So you just have about 15-20 minutes if you're in some of these communities to get to your safe spot. Plenty of time for you to get there. If you're in the Gallatin area, please go on and take that precaution as this storm is going to be getting so much closer to you. Let's do a reset here, a quick pull out so we can show other folks, if you don't mind there, just a second, because I know there's other things going on here and we just want folks to know that we're watching them as well. So just a quick pull out here to see where we've got other situations. Right up here to the north, we continue to have warnings here north of you with this cell that is east of Franklin. So make sure you're in your safe spot as well. We don't see as rotation as well defined in this spot, but that is very close to you if you're in Portland. So please keep that in mind. You're under a tornado warning there as well. Make sure you're in your safe spot too as this storm is moving into your general area. And then, of course, we have the storm here, but also tracking on down, you can see other storms down to the south, all the way down here in the southwest corner of the midstate. Please make sure you're staying weather aware here. We're popping up warnings on the bottom of your screen. You'll be able to get that information there. And then it's just heading towards the Hohenwald area. Also, Lawrenceburg, you're going to see this move into your area too. I just wanted to make sure that you knew we were tracking what's going on in your area as well. Now let's take this back up where we do have this particularly dangerous situation, as we know we have a tornado on the ground here very close to you if you are in Hendersonville. What we're seeing here is, look at this, these are so tight, so close together. We might can pop on some wind speeds there too, just to let you know what the gate-to-gate shear is, which tells us the intensity of the storm. Wow, 150 miles right through here. So this is a very dangerous situation with this storm on the ground moving toward the northeast, and we see it here. That is where that tornado is right now. So if you are in some of these communities, you want to make sure Saundersville, Bluegrass Meadows, Lake Club Estates, that is where this tornado is right now. And it's going to be moving almost parallel there with Nashville Pike, very close, crossing over some of these other roads too. See if we can identify some of those. Look at that notch in this storm. That is really telling us exactly where that tornado is located. Kind of a classic hook is what we're seeing here with this tornado as it moves through the Hendersonville area and continues to move towards the east, northeast right now. Really just a heads up to anybody out ahead of this. Make sure you're in your safe spot at this point, lowest level, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is your early warning if you're over here around the Gallatin area, and even points eastward from there. Want to make sure you are headed to your safe spot there at Castellian Springs as well. Anyone that's along 231, the northern part of 231, you can see it right over there. That's where this is going to be headed next. Now we're dropping down again, getting these storm wind speeds for you and checking right here where that storm is, Saundersville into the Bluegrass Meadows area right now. And this is what we're seeing with our winds well over 100 miles an hour with this storm right now. So we're talking about a tornado on the ground, incredible winds. And remember, what tornadoes do is they're like vacuums, and they rotate around and they unfortunately tear things up, suck them up inside of them. And all that flying debris is how so many people get hurt. But that's also another way that we can detect where that radar is. Now, we are pretty close to the radar site, but we might be able to check here on our First Alert Live radar real quickly to see if we see that debris ball any more well-defined than we did a little earlier. This is our debris detector, and I know we are close proximity, which makes it a little harder to define, but you can see it right through there, and we know we've seen that tornado as well. It is 5 o'clock. We want to give a little reset here with our radar to show people what's going on here. We have a line of storms that is moving across the midstate and actually moving pretty close to the time we estimated it would be coming right here into Nashville and continuing to press towards the east right now. We have a huge severe thunderstorm warning you can see here that extends from the Tennessee River eastward. And then here we have a tornado warning that does include folks up here in Sumner County. And we have seen the tornado come across I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Now it is continuing to track towards the east. So now we can drop back down. And also we had another tornado warning that was a little bit farther to the north here. Seeing that is just been allowed to expire. Looks like there might be another piece. Is that also another warning that I'm seeing up there in southern sections of in southern Kentucky? And we've still got the warning there as that storm moves just east of you in Franklin in Kentucky. Now let's get back to this storm, a particularly dangerous situation that we're seeing with this storm here.
Now a tornado emergency, and we do not see those very often at all. This is the second one of the day to my knowledge. The first one came in from the northwest. Stefano and Melanie were covering that one, but this one, man, it's not letting up. We're talking still tight rotation. You can see this little hook feature on the radar. Sometimes when you get too close, it's a little hard to tell where the strongest rotation is at, but we've got a telltale sign here with that little hook, that appendage there. That's showing us exactly what the winds are doing in that storm. And with this being more of a supercell type thunderstorm, we could even be seeing some hail on the northern side of this. So a heads up to you folks in Ocana and Peytona, Gallatin. You folks could have possibly see some hail in those areas, and then we're watching the rotation a little farther south. Stefano?
It's an extremely dangerous situation. The National Weather Service is calling it a catastrophic situation. Just to give you an idea of what's been happening with these storms, they've been coming through. So this goes back to when we were talking earlier in Springfield at 17th Avenue and Memorial, and Black Patch and Memorial as well. That's where we had a lot of structural damage. I can report, though, there was no loss of life, which of course is wonderful to hear. Minor injuries, but a lot of structural damage. People have been rescued from their homes, and we could very well be seeing almost the same exact thing ahead of this storm. So this is the main thing that we're tracking right now on First Alert Live radar. If you live in Gallatin, Trousdale, right along Nashville Pike, so this storm is following directly along Nashville Pike. Let me go ahead and turn off the lightning here, just so we don't have too much on the screen in front of you. So Nashville Pike, Noah Lane, Tulip Poplar Drive, it looks like as well, Lock 4 Park Road, all of these areas are under this. I mean, south of Station Camp High School, there's Petonia as well. Just going, I mean, barely go to our south, if not impact us right in this area. Remember, if you are in the path of this storm, you need to be getting into your safe space immediately. You need to make sure that you are in the proper location. The best place to be, obviously, is going to be the lowest level of your home. A basement's going to be best. If you do not have a basement, you want to go to the lowest first level inside of something like a pantry you may have, or a closet underneath your staircase, maybe a powder room. Protect your head from flying debris. You'll want to use things like pillows, blankets, a helmet. Here's the deal. We've seen these storms move through. We've seen these tornadoes come through areas that are duplexes, that have 2 floors. The top floor in some of the pictures I've seen, absolutely gone. I mean, demolished. The bottom floors, much safer. So make sure you heed that warning very cautiously. This is all moving to the east. I would really be concerned in and around the Gallatin area as this starts to work its way off to the north and east. Castellian Springs, we're not technically in this warning just yet, but the way this has been going, let's be ready for it right now. Gallatin High School, the time is 5:04. 5:10. You've got 5 minutes. You have no time left. Get into your safe space in Gallatin at 5:11. There's Castellian Springs at 5:22. Bethpage at 5:26. Hartsville at 5:33. This is a telltale sign with that hook. Kind of looks like a comma, right? That's showing us not only does the storm have a lot of inflow, but it's also sucking in a lot of air and lifting that rotation up and putting that tornado on the ground. The rotation in this has been just tremendous. As it gets a little bit farther away from the radar site, we should be able to get a better view of what the gate-to-gate shear situation is, but I think we can still get a good view of that in some kind of sense. I mean, with this storm, as hooked as it is, it really is telling us that just right in here, right near Petonia right now, and heading toward Gallatin, like I said, it's going right along Nashville Pike. It's following directly with that. It's only about 3 miles, thank you so much, Cruz, away from Gallatin, and then right up in line with that one is Trousdale. This is a tornado emergency. It's on the ground. It's coming your way. It has not shown any signs of weakening. There's also some good size hail within this as well. I'd say up to about 1 inch in size, maybe more than that in some locations. So there'll be hail on the backside of this as well. And by the way, here's another thing to think about. Once this goes through, there's a second hit coming on the backside near Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, Millersville. This is not tornado warmed. What we're watching for is the cell that's farther to the north and east near Gallatin. You can get a good look at the rotation. But once the tornado warm cell goes through, the second one is going to hit on top of that. So here's the deal. If the tornado goes through, and you're safe and you're well, stay where you are. Do not try to leave, because then on the backside, a second severe thunderstorm is going to hit, and that could still pack winds of 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, heavy rainfall. What crews is showing right now is the history of the rotation with this storm, and just tremendous rotation. I mean, from right now in Gallatin, we can track it all the way back through Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, Whites Creek, north of Jordonia. This storm has had this tornado on the ground for quite a while now, but now not only is it on the ground, but it is a catastrophic tornado that could cause catastrophic damage as it works its way through. We've already had reports of damage from some of this. There's the debris detector. Again, still a little close to the radar. As it gets a little bit farther out, we should be able to see that a little bit better. But you better believe right now that this is on the ground and it's lofting debris. There's a little bit better look at the wind speed. If we can query some of this, crews, I think down near Lock 4 Park Road, if you query that little dark or lighter red part, I mean, 91 miles per hour. It's probably even more than that in some spots. The point to show you this here, these two numbers, I mean, you're adding them together and you're looking at wind speeds that are over 120 miles per hour. That's sustained, and together with this rotation that's coming through. There's the rotation detector, and there it is right near Lock 4 Park Road. It's moving off to the northeast. Let me step out here so we can get some of these roadways in here. Nicholas Lane, Jocelyn Avenue, Woodvale Drive, South Water Avenue. It's going across right over South Water Avenue, South Westland Ave. If you hear the street that's in your town and you're near areas like Cairo, you're going near Gallatin, all of these areas, you need to be getting into your safe space immediately. There's Steam Plant Road on top of that. Airport Road looks like Arlington or Albright Road as well. Lakewood Drive just going to hit Gallatin. Wow, look at that hook. I mean, Gallatin, Trousdale, all of these areas are really showing just a tremendous amount of rotation. And on the back side of this, really where you see all these dark pinks and these blacks, that's not only heavier rainfall, but you could still have 50-mile-per-hour winds within that part of the storm. And yeah, there's the hail component as well. There could very well be hail over 1 inch in size with this. It's not the main threat, but it is an additional threat to think about. The same with this storm in Hendersonville, with it coming through on the back side of this hail, heavy rainfall, gusty wind. It's something else I really want to stress to you guys, because Lisa and crews, I mean, like I said, first storm goes through and you know, you get through it, you get to your safe place, but then the second one comes in on the back side of that, and that can really cause some problems. I mean, this storm has already knocked out power, structural damage in so many areas, and what we'll be watching for is how well this can actually hold together. Like we've talked about, the National Weather Service is calling this, you see it there at the bottom of the screen, it's catastrophic at this point. I mean, we've had reports of tremendous structural damage, people trapped, people injured. We don't have any reports of fatalities, but you know, our hearts go out to everyone being affected and impacted by this. Bethpage, we're getting some heavier rainfall right now. Looks like that cell will go just to the south of there. It's north of LaGuardo near Gallatin. There's that sort of rotation that we're seeing. A little bit of a better view with the rotation detector gives you just a good idea of where that rotation is. I would say I would give or take about a mile or two to the north and the south. So let's watch that for the rotation as it works its way through. What we could be able to see here, maybe something we can do later. We want to focus on this right now. Sometimes we can get an internal look at the storm. We can get sort of a cut of the atmosphere that looks like that, but I think it's something we should do a little bit later on. From Gallatin to Trousdale, I mean, Castalian Springs, all of these areas, Hickory Grove, it's going to go just north of Cairo, it looks like, but there's Highway 231 as it moves off to the north and east. I can only imagine, Lisa and crews, that, you know, this tornado warning is going to be extended farther east at this point.
I think so, and I do want to let you know, too, that we've already got reports in Hendersonville that There are homes that have been heavily damaged, and there is entrapment going on, so people are trapped in their homes. And we also had on Main Street a report of a roof off a building. So that's just more proof positive in what we're seeing here with these storms, that they are very, very dangerous. And, you know, we don't take this lightly. This is truly a life-threatening situation this evening as these storms are producing damage as they move to the east. This is a tornado that is on the ground. We're looking inside that storm right there. You can see how tall it is. The storm is building up into the atmosphere and kind of slicing into the middle of it as it moves towards the east. But we can just look at this in the 2D version and tell what an incredibly strong storm this is. A very well-defined hook, and that is always indicative of a tornado. When you see that signature, I can remember back in 2008, a well-defined hook right here in Gallatin that did so much damage, and now we're looking at yet another storm that is moving through there right now. Look at this, how it progressed. There it is, that hook. A little bit of a break in there, but this is likely where that tornado is right now, just south of you in Gallatin. If you are in this area, please make sure that you are in that safe spot. Let's call out some of these areas that we're seeing here. Right where that hook is Woodvale Drive, and that's going to be crossing Steam Plant Road. If you're on Newton Lane, if you're on Lakewood Drive, if you're on Albright Lane, it's going to be crossing your area too as it advances towards the east. But that is right on top of you if you're in the Woodvale Drive community. And I also see South Water Avenue too. Cairo, Castilian Springs, it's headed your way over to Hartsville too as it continues on this path right now. So there is where it's located right now. It's right on top of you in Gallatin, and we find that hook right here. It's going to continue to move to the east, and Castilian Springs is going to be one of the next communities along with Cairo as well. And then coming across 231 here on this path, moving in this general direction, here's the timing. Castilian Springs around 5:21, Hartsville at 5:33, and Green Grove at 5:34. If you're in those areas, this is a dangerous situation. Please go on and head to your safe spot, and don't get that second look outside, because that's how so many people can get caught off guard by a tornado, because you're looking for it, you want to look out the door, but it's dark, it's rain wrapped, and you're just not going to be able to see it in a timely manner that's going to give you enough time to get back into your safe spot. So just go on and head there now. Folks over in Davidson County, just to let you know, you are not under the tornado warning anymore. It has moved by you, but we do have some thunderstorms right now in Jolton and Whites Creek, and we're going to see more of that moving into Nashville. So we're not done with the storms yet, but that tornadic storm has moved on towards the east right now. But we are looking at quite a bit of lightning with this next storm that's going to be coming into your area. So we're keeping an eye on that for you. There is also another tornado warning that is right up here impacting Scottsville and Halfway. Here it is right here. That's the circulation with this storm as it moves towards the east right now. So just want to give you a heads up there if you're in Scottsville that we are still watching this storm as it moves off towards the east northeast, tracking across some of our southern Kentucky counties here. So you may be impacted with that. Not as well defined as we saw with the other storm that is down in the Gallatin area. It is going to be in Scottsville at 5:29. Oak Forest at 5:37, and over to Holland at 5:39. So make sure you're in your safe spot. If you're back in Franklin, the storm has moved past you in Franklin, Kentucky there. So we look on our map and we see a severe thunderstorm, a warning that is right over there to the west and right into parts of, let's see, over to folks in the Home area, Centerville, over to Linden. You'll want to keep a close eye out with this storm moving your way, but that's a severe thunderstorm warning. But we know from what we've seen earlier that we can have quick spin ups. Those do not look as menacing, though, as what we're seeing up here right into Sumner County and also into Trousdale County right now. This is where our active tornado warning is located. This is a storm moved out of Hendersonville, and we see it continues to track on towards the east right now and continues toward Castilian Springs. We're looking at our rotation detector here, and what we're circling here is where we've got the reds and greens really close together in here. So that could be an area area right now where we're seeing that rotation. Not as indicative as it was a little earlier. It was so well defined a bit earlier, but nonetheless, this is some rotation that's happening right there around Castilian Springs as it moves eastward. And you can see our gate-to-gate shear is a little bit less than 100 miles an hour right now. Those are good signs, but still, we're under that tornado warning and we want to take those precautions. This is incredible hook that we're seeing. Usually is showing us exactly where that tornado is, right there on the tail end of that hook. Looks like Stefano said, like a comma as it moves towards Castilian Springs. And Hartsville, you will be next in line with this storm as it moves towards the east right now. We've got a lot of lightning with these storms too, so you're probably hearing those rumbles of thunder from Westmoreland, stretching all the way down to folks there in Hendersonville, where that tornado has passed by you. But we do know there has been some damage in Hendersonville. We've had reports already of some homes that were heavily damaged, with some folks trapped inside, and also on Main Street. And of course, we've got our news crews that will be out surveying and giving us more information about what is going on in these areas too. Again, this is moving towards the east-northeast. It's going to be headed across 231 within the next little while with this storm. And keep in mind, it's past you now if you're in Gallatin, but you're not done. There's another storm on the back side of that. So that's going to be coming just on the heels of that, with more high wind and also some lightning with that. We are not seeing that tornado warning for that, however. Here is where we are most likely getting our tornado at this point, but I'm liking what I'm seeing here in terms of it's not as conducive to what we had a little earlier when it comes to those winds being really tight together to hold a tornado there on the ground. So that's what we're seeing right now as the storm moves on towards the east-northeast. And put that reflectivity back on, and we'll find just on the tail end of that circulation right there it is. And typically that's where the winds are blowing in. So that's right here as we find moving into Trousdale County, and can see some of the roads right in here, which does include folks there on Ziegler's Fort Road, I should say. It's going to be moving across there, Cairo Road, and then continuing right along Highway 25 too, as it moves towards the east-northeast, headed to you in Castilian Springs and also around Hickory Grove too. Another road I'm seeing up here that's very close to that storm is going to be Roundtree Drive right now, but it has moved beyond you in Gallatin. So good news there, a sigh of relief for you in Gallatin. But remember, there's another storm coming on the back side of this as well. And there once again is that circulation that we're seeing with this storm and that well-defined hook right through here. This is the next thunderstorm that's going to move through. Not a warning for this storm, however. This is the one there's a warning. And what is our expiration time on this one, Cruz, this warning?
This one goes till 5:45.
All right, so 5:45, so almost another half hour with this one as it moves across parts of Sumner County and now into Trousdale County, headed towards the Hartsville area too. There's Westmoreland up to the north, so you're in the thick of the northern part of the storm where we've got a lot of rain, some lightning right now, and some gusty winds with this storm. So you'll want to just stay inside till all this passes you by. You're just off to the north there, that tornado warned area. This is Cottontown over here, and you're in the thick of that storm as well. And then we've got Millersville about to see some stormier weather come passing through. A lot of lightning back on this end of it. And we see around Jolton that storm is moving closer and closer to folks again in Hendersonville. This one does not have a warning for it right now, and that's going to be moving into Madison, into Inglewood. So it's going to be pretty stormy out here. We're not seeing any signs right now of any kind of rotation with this. And then we follow on down that line. Kingston Springs also in the midst of a thunderstorm. Good news for you in Dixon. The rain is starting to taper off a little bit lighter rain. Waverly, you are in the clear now, and we still have the severe thunderstorm warning from Centerville all the way down through Linden, approaching you if you're in the Home area, and this one in effect until 5:30, so about 10 more minutes for that storm. And that is where we're seeing a severe storm warning in effect now. Heads up if you're in Columbia, in Smyrna, in Murfreesboro, this line is going to be headed to you before too much longer. And we see down to Lawrenceburg. Wayne County is still under the severe thunderstorm warning, but it will be moving, the storm line itself will be moving there into Lawrenceburg before too much longer now. Well, let's go back to our tornado warned area right up here. And this is a particularly dangerous situation. This storm has produced a tornado already, and we are still seeing signs of that tornado with this well-defined hook right now coming into Castalian Springs and moving on towards the east. It will be crossing 231. And also making its way closer to you if you're in the Templo area for too much longer, and could see an impact right there around Walnut Grove too. Here is that wind blowing into this storm. It's right there on 25, and that is the circulation that we're seeing with our storm right through here. So if you are in these areas, make sure that you are in that safe place till this totally passes by. And again, the safest place to be is going to be lowest level of your home, putting those walls between you. It's almost like building a fort to protect you from that storm. Center of the building is going to be the best place to be. Remember, you want to keep all that flying debris outside, and that's going to be the best thing that you can do. Castalian Springs, 5:22 is the estimated arrival time, so a couple of minutes, a minute from now. Hartsville around 5:38, and over to Green Grove, 5:40 is when we expect that storm to come into your area as it holds together pretty well. Still liking that we're seeing it not show as great a sign of the circulation, but still we are looking at reds and greens really tight together right through here. It's just not as broad a circulation, or as I should say, as big a circulation area as we had a little earlier. And looking at the debris ball there just a second ago to see if we could see any. This is definitely, Cruz, is not as well defined and easy to pick out as what we had a little bit earlier with some of our earlier storms, but still an indicator that we're gonna watch it for sure to see if we see that ramping up some.
Yeah, that's right. So sometimes with these radar velocities, what the wind is doing inside the storm, it can be a bit ambiguous, meaning we can't really tell if it's debris. There's sometimes where it's, a clear-cut sign. With this particular storm, I can't see that anymore, which is good. We were seeing it earlier, so I'm glad to see that we don't have that. Nonetheless, the National Weather Service is still calling this a confirmed tornado that is on the ground. And as long as that is confirmed, we're still going to have this box flashing purple here. So just a regular tornado warning, the box flashes red. This particular one, you can see it there. I've actually put it on the screen. Confirmed tornado warning. This goes until 5:45, and the counties included. This is going to be Sumner, Trousdale, and Macon County. So a heads up to you folks. We're looking way down the line, even outside of the warning. A heads up to you folks in Lafayette. If this holds together, this could brush just past you. So start thinking of where your safe place is at. We've been saying it all evening, but I'll give you another reminder. This is going to be on the first floor of your home. You want to be away from windows. That's the most important thing. So think about a closet, a bathroom, something that really is going to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And then to go a step further, you can put things over your head, a cover, some pillows, if you have a helmet, shoes. These are all things that you're going to want to remember and take with you as you go into that safe place. But we're giving you that first alert. We're letting you know ahead of time, and we want you to take this serious. So we've seen these storms today. They have been, causing so much damage. Think back to the Montgomery County tornado we had earlier in Clarksville. That one has caused a lot of damage. We've seen damage in Davidson County as this same storm that has now passed Gallatin moved through. So lots going on today. This has just been an active day, and it's going to stay pretty active until this line moves through. So as Lisa was saying, we like to give you folks a all clear. So if you're back to the west, let's say areas like Waverly, Clarksville, Hopkinsville, Paris, not to say you won't see another shower, possibly even a storm back there, but I'd say the worst of the weather is now to your east. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings for the extreme southern tier of the mid-state. So that's going to be this orange box that you're seeing down here. And that is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for many of our southern counties. Just some communities to name here: Linden, Hohenwald, Lawrenceburg. This is moving toward you. Lawrence County is not actually included in this warning for now, but it could be extended a little farther to the east. And then as we look to the north, this is where we've been seeing the rotation. Most of this has come from our western counties and northern counties, even extending into southern Kentucky. So my southern Kentucky folks watching, we have not forgot you. Let's check out these warnings that are to the north at this time. So we've got one in Allen County, Kentucky. This is right around Scottsville. And the good news here, the rotation is so broad, it's actually very weak rotation. Nonetheless, be in your safe place. Always treat a tornado warning with respect. You don't want to be caught off guard. We need you in your safe place as this moves through Allen County, Kentucky. So this is closing in on Scottsville. I'm going to lapse this just slowly to show you where that rotation's moving. So see where the red and greens are? That's actually where we have that rotation. And once again, this is just to the west of Scottsville, but it is very weak rotation compared to what we have farther to the south. So because this is still a confirmed tornado, I don't want to take my eyes off of it. We're not taking any chances with this storm that is about to move to the far eastern portion of Sumner County. This is going to cross into western Trousdale and western Macon County. This is that storm that had the confirmed tornado on it as it moved through Davidson County. We know that this impacted the southern part of Gallatin as well, and because of its history, we know that it can cycle, meaning, you know, it might weaken for a bit, but it could strengthen up just as quickly. And this particular storm, at least the rotation, is now moving over Highway 231. This is just to the south of Chipman. It's just to the west of Templo. It's moving toward Willard and Green Grove. And once again, it's crossing Highway 231, giving you an idea of where this is headed. Hawkins Branch Road, we've got Carr Branch Road, State Route 141, Elmer Dalton Road, Harris Branch Road, and then some communities, Pleasant Valley and Beach Hill down the road. So we're putting this, you know, on your radar ahead of time, quite literally, as this storm continues to move off to the east. Gallatin, the part of the storm that was rotating is now past you. Now, until that tornado warning is allowed to expire, I would stay in your safe place just out of an abundance of caution. We know the atmosphere is very primed today for severe weather and quick spin-ups, and we certainly don't want you to be caught under one of those. So with that being said, this particular tornado warning is confirmed. It goes until 5:45 p.m. This storm is moving off to the east-northeast at about 40 miles per hour and will continue to move on to possibly impact areas like Lafayette down the line. So, of course, that would be in Macon County. And you've got plenty of time to watch this as it goes toward your area. So this is just a reminder. You can download our app. You can take it with you into the closet. That's the free First Alert Weather app. You can find us in the App Store. It's a free download. We're streaming there. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere that you can find us, any streaming service. Turn up your volume, get in your safe place. We've got you covered right here on WSMV4.
All right, so we have, gosh, a much better view of what we had a little earlier. Things are seeming to quiet down a little bit. Some of these storms weakening somewhat. That is good news as we take a reset here with our First Alert Live radar. Now, we're going to be going out to some reporters here in just a little bit. I'll let you know when we get to that, and we can take a look at some of the damage that our reporters are finding out in the field. But right now, we're still under a severe thunderstorm warning for folks here on this southern end of the whole system, and we find that including Linden down to Savannah. So we're looking ahead to folks there in Columbia and Lawrenceburg. You're going to be seeing some of the heavier downpours, the gusty winds with these storms. And then we follow that line up. Fairview, you're going to be getting some of that as well. This is going to be headed towards Spring Hill. And you can see right now it is starting to move into Nashville. This is the second line. Here's the good news. Back on the back side of this, around Dixon, you're almost out of it. Clarksville, you're out of it. Springfield, you've just got the rain right now. And Greenbrier, mostly out of it, just seeing some of the rain. So the all clear for all these communities that I'm calling now. If you're in Hendersonville, let's know that we've got still some storminess to go through. And in Nashville, you're not under a warning right now, but there are storms that are moving through. So wait until that passes by before you head out. This is where we still have the tornado warning in effect. And just as I said that, I can hear that rain coming over here in West Nashville. Here is our tornado warning that remains in effect. This is the one that we tracked all the way through Hendersonville. Confirmed tornado with this storm. There's a lot of damage in Hendersonville. We've heard already with some folks maybe trapped inside their homes there. But here's what we're seeing right now. Much better than what we had a little earlier. We're checking some of our indicators of what's going on with the storm. And you can see
activity on this one.
Yes, it is a little easier to see, and you can see it right through there. That is the notch that where we think that tornado is. If it's still holding together, that is most likely where it is. It was really looked like a hook a bit earlier, less like that now, but certainly that is where that tornado is. We are under this tornado warning still, and you can see it around Templo right there. 56 and 40, so we've got right around 100-mile-per-hour winds, just under that. That's going to be headed to Green Grove and also over to Willard. So this is still a very dangerous storm. We want to wait till this is certainly passed before we call the all clear for folks here. If you're in Bethpage, it's just about beyond you. You've still got quite a bit of lightning out there right now. Here are some of the estimated arrival times with this storm as it moves over to Green Grove. 5:34 to Lafayette. 5:48 is the estimated arrival time. Macon County High School. 5.
Around 5:59. Now, within this whole mess of the storm system, well,
not really. I was
no.
just checking.
Live in this warning polygon. This is probably the strongest storm that we are currently tracking, short of maybe